Yeah, I was not going to put out another video, but I decided to because this is something more unique. Well, it's a more unique thought. So how's that? Well, I'm pretty attuned to the kind of games that go on in business. That I understand. It ain't all about numbers or just putting a little square peg in a square hole. That is not. That's bean counting. But I understand the shrewd games. But let me put it to you this way. I'm going to put something out. I said probably the title of this video that the silver statistics don't predict the silver price. And there's a reason for that. Now, silver statistics, if you're looking at supply and demand, yeah, if you take it over 30 years, 40 years, I guess silver statistics will tell you what the price is going to be with supply and demand. But silver is one of the most volatile commodities there are. Now, it hasn't been volatile recently, but it does get volatile if you look at any historical price chart on silver. But what happens? Is it because the supply gets short? No. Now, there's one area where I guess you might say silver as a supply could get short is in end product, especially coins. It's almost like... this is why I don't pay attention to a lot of the silver statistics out there. How much did they mine and how much did they have on hand and all this stuff. I mean, it has an influence, but not that much. Because first off, I do understand there's some market rigging, but they also rig the markets up too. They can rig them up. Because I just want to put this out in the beginning because I mentioned this before in other videos, but some of the top silver gurus are telling everybody and leading the herd. They sold right on that last Thursday in April of 2011. They sold right then, right at the top, and just got lucky, and sold in silver was over 40 in the summer and stuff. Before the September crash. Oh yeah, but nobody was listening. Anyway, I don't want to be negative here, but I'm just pointing something out, man. Because I'm under, anybody's in silver right now, it should be all right. You got to be patient with the garbage because I don't even know when it's going to go up. But I do know some fundamental principles that are not said too often. And one is, you can have all the silver in the world that's in the ground. You got to get it out, and there's a cost to it. That's one. I mean, it's a simple one. But it's also the end product could actually be in short supply, coins. And if there's a premium on coins and the word gets out there's a premium on coins, that can actually drive the spot price even higher. And the rumor mills and all the paid hacks and all this other garbage, which I am not one of. I do not work for any of the silver cartel, period, okay? But they do this in every aspect out there, whether it's solar energy or whatever the hell it is. There's all kinds of pump and dump operations, if you want to call it that. They could be in real estate. They could be in anything. They could be in anything there is. It could be in technology. It doesn't matter. But there'll be all of, the cartel and silver will get into high gear and put out all the reasons why you should buy at any cost. Now, that's where it gets kind of dangerous. But I just want to point out, here's a common sense fact with, say, statistics, more or less, if you want to put something in real common sense perspective. Say, for instance, you got so many ounces of silver and there's this big supply and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean people are going to come out with the finished bars, little bars that you invest in, the 1 ounce bars or even 10 ounce bars, or especially the coins, right? There's going to be a bottleneck there. It's almost like saying, when they had hula hoops in the 50s or something, if you looked at the statistic of the supply of plastic in the world, there's plenty of plastic, so why can't there be hula hoops to meet the demand? Well, it's because the finished product is where the bottleneck is, right? And what happened to the price? It super spiked, got too far ahead of itself, crashed. And that's typical what happens with silver, right? And usually when it super spikes is when everybody believes it's going to go up higher and higher and higher. And they just can't say, they just can't. I mean, it's almost like a religious cult. They just want to believe it no matter what. that, you know, it's going to go to the moon and all this garbage. That's, you know, it's anybody's guess how high can be, but that's when you should be shrewdly selling some of it, and that's what I'll be doing. That's what I'll be doing. I won't be keeping this stuff forever. I'll keep some of it forever, but I won't keep all of it forever. Now, the things we got going on our side are the debt situation is one, because that could bring about an investor panic into hard assets or commodities, but you know what really brings it upon that is usually conflict, whereas you have uncertainties. And if you look back, you know, and I said this many times, is that if you look back in history, when there was conflict in the Middle East, you know, I know there's always conflict going on in the Middle East, so you could say, but I mean, there was really like significant conflict, like something out of the ordinary. The price of oil goes up, and that's when there's a correlation between oil and gold. Gold goes up, and guess what? Silver takes off. That's usually what happens. So, you know, one time, you know, there was a big rumor out there that Netanyahu was going to attack Iran back in the late spring of 2012. He never did. Well, if that happened, the price of silver and oil and gold probably all would have went up. But maybe, you know, that's not in the cards for a while. Maybe there's some other deal going on with Ukraine, your tensions and stuff like that. But that's what's actually going to bring it up. But what it'll actually, you know, when you're looking at these statistics, it's not like, you know, if the freaking demand is this, and, you know, if they looked at these overall aggregate statistics, it might make a little dent in the price or something like that, but it's not going to change the price that much. What really does is it's all psychology. It's 99% of that. It's fear and greed. That's really what it always comes down to, isn't it? It's like fear is maybe what brings people into the metals because they're fearful of other sectors. They're fearful of the government bonds. They're fearful of you know, the currencies. They're fearful of the markets. They're going down or something. You know, China, it's pretty likely. You know, we're seeing this implosion in China. We've seen this implosion in China in a construction market for years now, right? You know what I mean? They got like Disney World out there unfinished. It's going to be torn down. You know, a big waste of freaking money, right? They built a whole copy of Paris or something on a smaller scale, and that's all going to be torn down. There's all these shadow banking institutions that are like going belly up, you know. They're all connected to the shipbuilding and construction industries in China. And it's going to actually lead to major banking crises. And China's going to, like, be screwed, which in turn is going to actually all be linked into other economies. So it's actually, you know, I hate to say it, man. You know, it's like I'm being realistic. We haven't really seen nothing yet. I mean, these damn doom and gloomers, man, they're like telling you the sky's falling every day. Actually, the United States has been faring pretty well. We're probably coming up into our the worst times where we really get into worse things in the future. And I'm not just saying that from like it's these typical doom and gloomers left and right. I mean, actually, Russia's economy has been doing very bad. Their ruble's been doing bad. Their stock market's been doing bad. You know, the doom and gloomers, if that was the United States, that was going on in the United States, these doom and gloomers would be, oh man, they'd be throwing it out there left and right. I mean, even as things are, the USA is actually not doing bad. But we got this one looming problem in the background. It's like the 300-pound gorilla in the room, which is the debt, you know? And that's what can actually lead the investors also into going into gold and things like that. But typically, when it starts, it's over conflict. It starts with conflict that brings up gold because of uncertainties in the world. That brings up oil. Then silver takes off. But you know, if say silver went up, you know, double or triple from here, you know, people would be the silver bloggers or whatever the hell you want to call them. They'd be saying, "Yeah, the banksters are losing control," and you know what? They're not losing control. They're probably helping the freaking price go up and profiting by it, and you're going to pull out right before it crashes, along with some of the best top silver advisors out there. I'm not going to mention their names, but they're the top ones, man. They're the top ones. They're the ones that'll tell you, yeah, it's going to keep going up. And if it crashes, it's a big conspiracy, you know. Meantime, they're walking off, smiling all the way to the bank. Now, I'm not going to know exactly what the crash point will be. I suspect that, you know, if you have a major run-up, if it goes through 50, it's going to go quite a bit through 50. But, you know, I don't know how far it could go. 60, 72 to 75, I don't know. But the thing is, that's when it'll definitely be ahead of itself. And, you know, it'll reset again. And, you know, it ain't going to have nothing to do with the statistics of supplies and stuff like that, or what, you know, how much the mines are producing and stuff. It has nothing to do with that. You know, if you look at the freaking price of silver, it really has to do with fear and greed all the way. You know, it doesn't really have anything to do with these statistics come into play when you look at the price of silver over 40 years and you flatten out the average. Then those statistics come into play, but they don't explain anything when silver goes like this, comes down like this, goes like this, and then stays flat for a gazillion years and maybe takes off again. It doesn't explain that at all. All the statistics in the world don't explain that at all. Supply and demand. It's other things going on. Typical, and it's actually market manipulation. Now, there's always one I put a bunch of links to videos in my information box. A lot of them are on Palladium, and you know, that would people should have done that some years ago. Anyway, I don't know. But now it's probably getting up there. I don't know. But you know, if you got that some years ago, that would have been good. That would have been the one to get. But anyway, I have one in there. Actually, I found it would be very interesting. You know, it's my work, but I think it's interesting because it's the one on the commodity and oil price manipulation. And actually, I went into a little bit about some things I thought which was very suspicious about the Gulf of Mexico oil spill that we had in 2010 and how people profited by that. And like, how the hell could they have been that damn lucky? Especially, well, they flat out said some things in some of their emails and stuff that, you know, really screams that they knew all about it. And, well, I put some things in that video that maybe are pretty controversial. But, you know, you got to figure this. It's like this throughout the entire commodity world. You know, I mean, I forgot what the hell I forgot a lot of stuff that I read. But, I mean, I know there's been people, you know, I forgot this guy's name. He made a lot of money off of copper. And he basically got accused of, like, moving the markets and manipulating the markets. And there's a lot of people like that. You know, when you're looking at these statistics, you know, I have a suspicion that a lot of times when a lot of people are coming out and saying there's going to be plenty of silver in this world for the next 10 years, don't expect it to do anything, I'm almost thinking it might be disinformation. Because, you know, maybe it's factual, but the price can still go way the hell up due to other factors. Just like I was saying with hula hoops. You know, why did hula hoops go up so much? I mean, it's maybe not a perfect analogy, but, you know, there was plenty of plastic in the world back in the 1950s. Why did hula hoops go up so much? Because people wanted hula hoops specifically. You know, maybe with silver, people might want the little 1 ounce bars that are minted or the 1 ounce coins that are minted, and there won't be enough of them. There'll be a premium, and it won't be like maybe the physical price separates too much from the spot price, but the physical price might separate a little bit from the spot price, and those rumors and all of that kind of information that's going to be put out by the silver bloggers and stuff is actually going to help push up the spot price. And of course, the sharks in Wall Street are going to be already doing their things in the background, pushing them prices up. And, you know, it'll get too far ahead of itself, and right before it crashes, they'll be out. And, you know, who'll be left in there? Everybody else, right? And hopefully, I would love to guess at the exact top. I will not be able to tell you that. But I have a good suspicion as to, you know, a roundabout where it would be in different waves. But I think the next wave is going to be, I would say 60 to 75. Come down way below 50, and the last wave is going to be way to hell over 100. Way to hell over 100. I think the next wave is coming up pretty soon. Because I've been saying it's every 3 years. 2005 was a height, then it crashed. 2008 was a height, then it crashed. 2011 was a height, then a crash. 3 years later, 2014. Now we're fairly into 2014, but the equities markets are really, I don't know, they've been hitting records again. And it's like, it makes you wonder how long it can go. Because, like I said, the equities, if they go to July 2014, that's the second longest bull run we had in the last 100 years in equities. And yet George Soros has been major bearish bets on the S&P since August of 2013, and actually put heavier bets on bearish bets in early 2014. So I think he knows something coming up, and I don't think it's going to be coming up. It's not going to take 2 years. So maybe when this happens, there's going to be a full reversal. What Janet Yellen, she's running the Starship, what is that, Star Trek, Enterprise. She's going to be like, she's trying to back off, Warp 3, Warp 2, Warp 1, get down to, what is that, Impulse, whatever the hell they are. I don't even remember that show. But you know what's going to happen? She sees the markets go down. It's going to be like, Scotty, give me full power, Warp 10. Get me out of here. And, that could be freaking pushing up the price of metals. And, the other dame is, it's a little bit of conspiratorial, but the other thing is, when stuff is really going bad domestically, to divert people's attention away from domestic problems, what do? They go to war, right? So, and like I said, my one thing I'm pointing out here too is that even though over the long average of prices, statistics mean everything, with the supply and demand, that does rule the price. That's the law of economics. But as far as the price of silver going like ching, ching, and down, up, and staying flat, and going up and down, and all this kind of garbage, that is not supply and demand doing that. That's fear and greed and rumors, contrived freaking, Madison Avenue drama about the skies falling. And I'm not playing that game, man. I'm not playing that. But I'm just telling you that do expect that silver at one point in time to just take off like a rocket and all of a sudden be up 2 or 3 times from the price it is now inside of a matter of so many months. I mean, maybe 7 months. It could be up to 60 or something. You don't know. It's just how that stupid thing is. It's why it's been called the devil's metal. And, people are buying it right now. They're like, it's boring, But, you got to remember, when somebody wants that hula hoop, and the plastic in that hula hoop ain't worth 50 cents, and they want to pay $5 for it, you're going to sell it to them. So that's what you're going to do with that coin, right? Because that's where the bottleneck's going to be in the end product. And I won't sell a lot of it because, I figure, it depends on how much you got. If you make a lot of money, I ain't gonna know all the perfect tops. If I knew all the perfect tops and bottoms, I'd be like, George Soros would be working for me, man. You know what I mean? He don't even know that shit because he put his bet down too early, didn't he? I mean, he should have put his bet down like last week, not back in August 2013. But he's using common sense. He's got patience. You don't bet the farm, though. That's the other thing, too. And you don't bet the farm on freaking silver, Don't ever listen to any yo-yo that tells you to put all your money in silver or else you're going to lose every last cent. If you're going to put all your money in physical goods, there's a lot of other physical goods I could think of besides silver that will be more worthwhile. It could be solar panels, it could be fuel, it could be food, or whatever. Anything like that, building supplies or whatever. And that's if you just want to stick with strictly hard material assets you can get your hands on. So, use a little common sense, because what's going to happen is, I already know, man. But you know, you can't you can't tell the religious zealots, because that's basically what it comes down to. This silver, when something takes off like that, it's like, you don't understand why the hell people would pay that much money for it. I mean, even to give an extreme example, when Hostess Twinkies was going out of business, or I don't know, maybe they are out of business now. I forgot. I don't even know what the hell happened with them. But I remember on eBay there was some, like, the last Twinkies were going for $1,000. Somebody bought it, right? It makes you, maybe buy Twinkies. I don't know. Maybe that's the deal, right? But, what I'm saying is, investor panic, greed, fear. And right now, at these prices, don't be dissuaded by somebody pulling out some silver statistics that's going to be plenty of silver for the next 10 years. So maybe there will be. So what? That's not going to actually stop a spike in prices where it goes like this. And I don't mean it's going to spike up and stay up. It means spike means up then down. And you want to get as much as you possibly can, for the money back up here at the top. That's the whole goal. Get the cash, get the greenbacks. And, people are going to criticize me for that. What do you want, cash? Well, I'm going to even ad-lib a little more in this. In the end, all businesses trade goods in cash. If I was a business, like I was a corporation, whatever the hell it is, and I had all these properties, and that's part of the freaking deal. It's not our major business, but we got all these properties out here, and some idiot wants to buy them for like 10 times what the market value is. Well, I'll be like, well, see you, gone. But does that mean that all that money, you got to get all that money cash immediately? Does that mean you're going to hold cash? No, you reinvest it in other capital assets. That's just how businesses are. The balance sheet don't say, cash, here's a big thing, so we got all cash and there's no other assets. Cash is a minor part of it. So think ahead. There'll be another step. So I don't know. I'm trying to explain something here that I think is 101, but I don't know. It depends on who the hell I'm explaining it to. So it's a and I guess when I explain on here is a wide variety of audience, and it's but that's, you will take cash because that's the medium of exchange. That when you sell something, you take cash. That doesn't mean you're going to hold cash and hold paper forever. That does not mean that. So, people want silver. They tell me, what do you do? Take fiat? I say, yeah. Anyway, over and out.